Thanks for joining us on this Monday Daily Dosers. If you saw the title of this, your eyebrows already went up. You had a lump in your throat and you're like, seriously, North Coast? Seriously, are you really doing a week on, what is this, religion and politics, religion against politics, religion but politics? How in the world can you talk about the two in the same sentence right now? Well, because of what we are leading into and where we are right now in our nation, as Christ followers in our nation, why not? It's for Daily Dosers. You want to opt out of this? That's fine. But let's take a little bit deeper dive in what is the Christian's role, place, preference, position when it comes to especially our current political affairs here in the United States. And to do that, can I just take you back to our example? Can I take you back to the one that we are named after, Christians? Can we look at the last week of freedom in Jesus' life? He's gone to Jerusalem, and right there raised some eyebrows of his followers. Why in the world did you go to Jerusalem? They hate you in Jerusalem. That's the headquarters of our current political nightmare and system that we're in. And yet Jesus went right into those headquarters. He has spent Monday and Tuesday teaching, and the religious leaders absolutely hate him. They've come up and confronted him. By what power, by what authority are you doing these things? And now they've gone back to their little hideout, and they've come up with a way to trap him. Have you ever thought about it? In light of where we are today as a nation, have you ever gone back and thought about, the irony of that? When they wanted to trap Jesus and get him very ungodlike, what did they come up with? That's right, politics. 2,000 years ago, politics separated mature followers and immature followers just like it does today. And when the religious ruling party wanted to get rid of Jesus, they knew, let's play the political card. Nothing separates Christ-like people like the political card. So let me take you back to that day in the temple courts with the crowd around him. Jesus is now in his final week, that Passion Week we call it. He had just done a story in chapter 12 in the book of Mark about a vineyard. And the story ends and it says this: Then the religious leaders looked for a way to arrest him because they knew he had spoken the parable against them. Now they know. You're calling us out. You're calling us bad leaders. You're going after our national Israeli politics. Oh, we're going to find a way to get you. And here's what they came back at him with. Later, they sent some of the Pharisees and the Herodians to Jesus to catch him in his own words. They came to him and said, "Teacher, we know that you are a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by other men because you pay no attention to who they are, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth." This is simply sucking up. We know you're going to say what's on your heart and mind, regardless of the crowd around you. Checkmate. Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay or shouldn't we? And this was the political hot button of the first century for any good Israeli. And Jesus knew the hypocrisy. "Why are you trying to trap me?" he asked. "Bring me a denarius and let me look at it." And they brought him a coin, and he asked them, "Whose portrait is this and whose inscription?" "Caesar's," they replied. And then Jesus simply said to them, "Then give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's." And they were amazed at him, and they left him. 2,000 years ago, Christian, when they tried to trap Christ himself, they played the politics card. We know if we can get you to speak publicly about the current state of affairs politically, you will trap yourself and become very ungod-like. And yet the brilliant of the Son of God himself in answering this question. You see, at that time, they had a coin. It had an inscription of Caesar on it. And on the other side, it said Pontifex Maximus, High Priest of Rome. Now, this was treason to a good Jew who knew there's only one God. And yet to have a Roman emperor claiming to be God and claiming to be your high priest, simply paying this denarius, paying this tax was treasonable. And for Jesus in a public square to say you have to pay taxes, the rest of his followers would be in up in arms. How can you say give to Caesar what's Caesar's? But for Jesus to say you don't pay taxes, well, then Rome would step in and have him silenced. This was actually brilliant on behalf of the leaders. And Jesus' answer is simply, bring me a denarius. Whose inscription is that? I know ours is Liberty 1905. Just go with me. And the crowd said, Caesar's. Give to Caesar what's Caesar. Give to God what's God's. And the religious leaders knew that they had been beat because in page 1 of the Bible, God said, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let him rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over all the livestock, over all the earth, over all the creatures moving on the ground." So God created men and women in his own image. In the image of God, he created them male and female. He created them. Whose image is on your coin? Caesar. Then give it to Caesar. Whose image are you in? Give to God what's God's. And you are stamped. You are created in his image. Tomorrow, I'm going to flesh it out for you. Today, I just want you to stop and remember, don't get caught up in the temporary things. When you were made by an eternal God for his eternal purpose, don't ever let the minor image of what's happening politically destroy the major image of who you were created to be. Tomorrow, we'll flesh that out. I hope you join us.